record this time. I had a lot of people ask for that last time. So something new that you're grateful for this week, and type that into the chat. Does anybody want to share out loud? Morning, Jeannie.
Good morning.
I love I get to see you today, actually.
I know. I had to call in yesterday and listen on Jennifer's phone.
He's just Mr. Runner.
Love it. Love it, love it. Let's see. Okay, really, really quickly. Hold
Top
on.
shape, that dude.
Let me just mute a couple people really fast. Sorry, guys. I want you guys to stay unmuted when you can so everybody can participate. One sec, and I have a ton to share today. All right, there you go, Troy. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, cool. So keep typing in the chat something that you are grateful for. Ooh, sunshine. Yep, that was a good one. It's pouring rain here today. However, we had really great sunshine yesterday, so it was awesome. Barb, I know you're loving to spend time with your daughter. Yeah, I knew that would be a good one. Okay, so I wanted to start with something funny before I get into our actual meet today. Some of you have seen this, but when I was preparing for this last night, I saw I saw this again on my computer, and I just had to share it because I'm actually I've been in Charleston for 4 weeks, and even though there's nothing I can do in Kentucky, I'm actually missing Kentucky, and so I found this on my computer, and I just thought it was funny to share. So for all you Kentucky people, this is for you. This is a quick little clip they showed at church, I don't know, several months ago, and it just makes me laugh. So hopefully it'll make you laugh too. Okay, here we go.
On Hattiesburg Road are still, buzzing about what happened.
Well, I just got done feeding my chickens, watering them and stuff, and I walked back to my house there to get my phone so I could and all of a sudden I heard that big phone. I looked back out the door and the electric pole fell, the lines was falling, and the geocache sideways into the fence.
Then the folks inside the car got a big surprise.
Well, he didn't know it, but he found out that there was a beach that was located there, and he disturbed them.
And the guy come out screaming and squalling. Running around about like the chicken with his head cut out.
I don't know why that makes me laugh every single. Has anybody heard squalling before? I don't know that. I think that even might be a new one for me. So I just thought that was super funny, make you all laugh. Hey, Troy, did it let you approve people into the group, into the Zoom? Troy Marsh?
Yes, it does, and I've been doing it. You can just do your thing.
Will you help? Okay, thanks. I tried to have Heather help, but it's not letting me make her as a co-host for some reason. Okay, so really quickly, last week I really encouraged you guys to listen to the John Maxwell podcast interview with Tyler Perry. Send 5 handwritten note cards and then work on your story model talk. So did anybody listen to the podcast? I know some of you did because you texted me. And any ahas for any of you that were able to listen? I had a couple to share, but I wanted to let you guys go first.
You want us just to put it in the chat?
You can just share out loud. Or you can put it in the chat, but it would be more fun if you shared out loud. Monica, did you listen?
I did. I was the one who just said, do you want us to put it in the chat?
Okay.
I really love when he said, run your own race and don't worry about what other people are doing. Stay focused on what you're doing. I know for myself, I sometimes tend to think like, what do other people think? So just kind of hearing that, I'm like, okay, I need to start actually doing that. So that was like the biggest part for me.
So I love that was yours because that's what we're talking about today. So you prepared us perfectly for that.
Great.
What I loved,
yes.
I'm sorry. What I loved is how when he had to build, like to get new places, that he started small and got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, and how he said that if he went from the small one to the big one, he would fail. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a purpose in growing, not just by leaps and bounds, but as you go.
Yeah. So Jen, that was one of the first thing I wrote down was he didn't go to college, because some of you know this, but I didn't graduate from college either. And so that, I just think that that's cool when you hear really successful people. Not that there's anything wrong with college. I think everyone should go to college, but I just happened to not, or graduate. So that was cool. But the second thing I wrote down was when he said that each property prepared him for the next. And exactly what you said. If he couldn't have gone from the very first one to the very last one. And I loved when he said that he didn't even want to go look at that one, and he pulled up and his favorite Bible verse was on the gate. That was super cool. Oh, Erica, thanks for being on. This is a really good one. That was one of mine too. Don't despise small beginnings, especially as a leader. There are moments that come into your life that seem so small, and acorns grow from trees. That was one I wrote down too. I love that. That was one of my biggest ones. That was my number 3. Don't despise small beginnings. You know, one of the things he talked about that I really love was that he did a lot of jobs. He said he did every single job so that he could appreciate all the other jobs. I thought that was so good. Anything else? Did anybody else get any ahas? I don't have kids, but I loved that he said, well, unless you count Frankie, who kept me up all hours of the night last night for some reason. But I loved what he said. If you don't give your children something, they will turn to something. And I shared that with Adam. I thought that was just a really good thing also. Tiffany, I loved how he spoke about pushing yourself to continue to grow so that you can help others. It's not just about you. Yep. My last aha was, you're not your own as a leader. It's not totally yours, right? That was just such a really good one too. I thought that was awesome. So if you didn't get to listen to that, I would highly, did that make you guys, was that like a feel good one? I loved it. I listened to it again last night just so I could get just one.
Good.
Anything John Maxwell's great, and couple that with Tyler Perry, and I just think it's awesome. So I'm gonna give you another one to listen to at the end today too. Okay, so a couple of tactics to keep in a good mindset. And as Stephanie watched it twice, I know it's kind of, you almost have to, like, you have to keep watching it to you pick up new nuggets each time. So, okay, I have 4 tactics to keep you in a good mindset. And I don't know about you guys, but just to be real and kind of vulnerable, I had a great weekend and everything was awesome and a really good relaxing weekend. And then Monday kind of kicked me in the you-know-what for some reason. And I'm not sure why. I think I told Adam, I said, I wish I would have had 2 Easters. Like I needed 2 days because Sunday was like so great. And then Monday I was like 12-hour Zooms. And some of them were really difficult conversations on Monday. I don't know why, but I had a lot of difficult conversations on Monday. So Monday was kind of like, ugh. And so in the probably about 7:30, no, later than that, probably about 8:30, I was in here in the office with the door shut, and Adam opened the door. He's like, are you still working? I said, no. And he said, what are you doing? I was listening to John Maxwell podcast and I was handwriting all more notes. And so just since I started this last week, I've written 54. And I'm trying to write as many as I can. I've spent way too much money at Target getting handwritten cards because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to go back, and they were taking too long to get here if I went Amazon. So, I just wanted to share that because we're not all having amazing days every single day, but I had to do something to get my mindset back that night before bed, or I would have been up all night long. And so listening to that and writing the cards, Liz, that's so true. Writing the cards actually it just put me in a totally different mind space. And so here's some tactics I want to share with you. So this first one is a John Maxwell, and it's one of the biggest lessons I have ever learned from John Maxwell. And he says, you must have what are called nourishment centers around you in order to stay in a good mindset. And when he means around you, he means very close to you. And for him, that's on his cell phone. For me, that's on my cell phone too, because probably for many of you guys, that's close to you all the time. And so what he means by nourishment centers is this. When you have a moment or a day or a time when you feel like, oh, like everything is weighing, or your mindset might be not going in a good place, or you can feel yourself kind of slipping, or you're creating a story in your head from last week, or something happens, or somebody upsets you, or any of those things, you have to go to your nourishment centers. And so what those are, and these are some of my examples, and also these are some of the ones I got from John Maxwell, and he shared these with us, gosh, I think maybe 3 years ago in Beverly Hills at a conference. I can't remember when it was, but he said the first one is people to call. So you may have a list in your favorites of people to call that as soon as something like that happens, we kind of talked about this last week, and you need to keep your mindset in a good place. You know that you can call that person and they're in your favorites. You may have I have a specific album, actually two, on my photos and on my music, but on my music app in my library, it's a playlist. I have a specific playlist, and those are songs that I know that when my mindset is starting to drift, I can go and turn on those specific songs because for whatever reason, they give me energy. And some of you know this, Sarah and Heather and some of y'all know, like you may, on my playlist on those, you may hear one song could potentially have an F-bomb and the next song is like hands in the air, we're praising Jesus. So there's no judgment around what those songs are for you. It's whatever songs give you energy. Quotes to uplift you. I have a section in my notes of quotes that I love, and they're a mile long, and I add to them all the time. But for me, quotes can put me in a really good mind space. Teachings from others, for me, that's podcast. For some of you guys, it may be an Audible book. It may be recorded Zoom. It could be anything. But teachings from others, that's why I immediately Monday night, I had to come in here and listen to John Maxwell because he's usually my go-to. Scriptures, if you are a person of faith, scriptures, keeping them on your phone, I go straight to the Bible app. It's my favorite. And then pictures and an album to look at. This was something I never thought of, honestly. And John kind of challenged us with that a couple of years ago. And he said that go find like your favorite pictures that give you great energy and put you in a really good headspace and keep them in an album on your phone, just so you can go back and look through them. So keep your nourishment centers around you is the number one way to have a good mindset. And that's going to be part of y'all's homework this week. The number two is make every day your masterpiece. And that's a John Wooden quote. And here's the deal. This is so powerful. You are either preparing or repairing every single day. So we just need to remember that, and we need to understand that, because this is something that John shares that I love so much. All you have is 100% every single day. All you can do is 100% in one day. Would you guys agree? I don't know. I don't know anybody that has more than 100% in one day. So whatever you don't do today, you lose forever. Because if you do 60% today, you can't add that 40% to tomorrow because you only have 100%. There's no such thing as 140% tomorrow. So in the important priorities, you have to be 100% because you can't be 100% all day, right? There's no, it's not possible for, no matter how much energy you have, no matter how great your mindset is, we are not on 100 from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed. So the important priorities and the ones that are going to keep us in a really good mind space, and they're going to keep us productive in whatever it is that we do. Because I know we have a lot of people that aren't in the real estate industry on today, which is awesome. Because someone sent me a message, Craig, I really said, I was in when you said this is non-real estate related. Because sometimes you just need like a minute outside of what you do all the time. So whatever your important priorities are, you have to be 100%. So make every day your masterpiece. Number 3 is be intentional with your attitude. This is a huge John Maxwell. All he talks about is attitude. And here's the deal. Attitudes don't stay good automatically. At least for me, they don't. And I'm sure for you guys, they don't either. The only time that attitude matters is during difficulty and the diversity. And I, as much as what we are in right now, I know will pass. This is a difficult time, and we're in a pandemic, right? We're in something that has only happened a dozen or so times, and it's a different way. And honestly, every week is different. Like entering week 5 this week is different for some reason. And we've been riding our bikes every single night because it just gets me, like, I just need to get outside. And last night, it seems, Adam and I were saying as we were riding, it seems like there's fewer people out, even than there was last week. Last night, we barely even saw anybody. So it's kind of just like things are changing. So always have a great attitude no matter what. And here's the deal. We have to work at our attitude sometimes, and that's okay. So if you wake up and you don't feel like you have a great attitude today, don't be like, oh, well, the whole day is done. Find a way to work on your attitude, and we have to work on it, just like we have to work at relationships and all of those things. And then number 4 is, here's the meat I want to talk to you guys about, and Monica so perfectly walked us into this. Number 4 is understand what comparison does to your mindset. And I don't care how mentally strong you are, which, by the way, this morning I had a thought. If you have any of you read, I think it's like the 13 things mentally tough people do, or it's such a great book. Anyway, I think I want to do that next week because there's so many good ahas in that. And this reminded me of that. But understand what comparison does to your mindset. So no matter how strong you are mentally, or you may even think that you are, all of us at some point, we can compare, right? And so the decisions you make today with your mindset will be the stories that you tell tomorrow. And that is one of my favorite quotes. That's a Craig Groeschel quote, because that is so true. Whatever decisions we make with our mindset today actually are the stories. And whether they're good stories or they're bad stories, they're still stories that we tell. So I really want you guys to think about running your race, staying in your lane, because only you can actually run your race. So my race is different than Troy's race, is different than Monica's race, is different than Melissa's race. It's different than everyone's race, because we all have our own race that we were put on earth for. And so I love when he talks about this. The fastest way to kill or destroy something is to compare it to something else. And that could not be more true. So here's some examples. You get a great win in your work that you always wanted, and then you see your coworker got a better one, and then yours is destroyed. You remodel your kitchen, you love it, and then your friend remodels theirs, and it's like extra amazing. They have a waterfall island, and you're like, dang it, I didn't do the waterfall island. You have an amazing partner, and then you see another couple who seems like they love each other more than you guys love each other. And so we automatically compare. We don't even sometimes know that we're doing it, and we do that. And so just remember that the fastest way to kill or destroy something is to compare it to something else. And honestly, we have no clue what is going on with other people's lives, or in their minds, or with their families, or behind their closed doors. And honestly, sometimes it's the people that you think have it together the most that they don't. They have things that are going on in their lives too. And so yes, thank you, Missy. Sorry, I'm getting squirreled by the chat. I need to not look at it when I do this. 13 things mentally strong people do. And oh, I didn't know there was parents. That is awesome. Yes, love that. Thank you. We're going to talk about that, I think, next week. So stop comparison, because we do this over and over and over in our minds. And every time we do this, we have something really, really special, and then we compare it to something else or to someone else, and then we destroy that special thing for us. And when that happens, your mindset goes to a not so good place. So when we can just be aware of that, that's how we can keep a really great mindset. There is no external win that can ever satisfy an internal win. And so I love that quote, because here's the deal. When you aren't internally in a good space, and for me, that's faith. For you, it may be something different. But when you aren't in a good space internally, you can win and win and win and win and win. And you could still not feel satisfied internally. And so you really have to look internal, and not to get super deep, but you have to do some internal thinking and kind of meditating, if you will, to stay in a good mind space. And I know I can think of a lot of people who, like, a lot of you are on this call, which is probably why you're on this call, because you have a great mindset and you want to keep it that way. And then I can think of other people who I hate it. It makes me sad, because I feel like they don't have a great mindset around things. So just remember, you can't run someone else's race, and they can't run yours. And that's such a great thing to think about, because whenever you might be thinking about comparing to someone else, they can't run your race either. And so that's really good. Let me go to the chat for just a second and catch up really fast. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Yes, totally believe that. Literally confirmation on my meditation time with the Lord. Yes, Talisha, I love that. Comparison is a tactic of self-defeat. Totally. It's not what you are that holds you back. It is what you think you are not. Yes. Oh, I love that one, TJ. That's so good. So, this was at a conference in Atlanta that I went to, and I took a picture of it, and I had it as my screensaver for a long time. Comparing makes you feel either superior or inferior, and really neither honors God. Because when we have a bigger ego and we feel superior to everybody else, that's not good. And when we're inferior, we're operating out of fear, and that's not good either. And so we really have to, oh, I love that, Troy. Happiness is a choice, not a destination. That's such a good one. We really have to think about keeping our mindsets in a good space. And even if you feel like I never compare myself, I would challenge you to just be aware of that, because sometimes we do, and it's over little stupid things. Has anybody seen this picture before? I love this picture. Yeah, I love this. Okay, so this is just a really great visual for those of you that are visual learners, because this is Michael Phelps, and he is looking what direction? Straight ahead, right? He is running his race. He is staying literally in his lane. He is full speed ahead, focused on his race, on his lane, what he needs to accomplish. And I can't remember this guy's name, but I always know it's something I can't probably pronounce anyway. But what's he doing? He's looking over his shoulder, and he's looking at Michael Phelps. And because of that, he didn't win the race. He wasn't staying in his lane. He was looking at Michael's lane. He was probably comparing, actually, I did swim for a while, now that I think about it, and I was a lifeguard, if that counts. So I don't know the technical terms of this, but he's probably comparing his strokes or his breaths, or looking to see if he's, a half a foot in front of him, or are they equal, or where are they at? And he doesn't even probably know that he's doing it, but he's doing it. And it cost him to not win the race, right? Because Michael Phelps won this race. And this is a picture that is just a visual for so many things. And it just reminds us, oh, am I not sharing my screen? Can you guys see that? Okay, good. Okay. Oh, you said never mind. Okay. It's just such a good visual to remind us that we have to stay in our lane. And don't focus on anybody else. And honestly, guys, this is in the Bible. This is one of my favorite verses in the Bible. The quickest way to lose a race is to look over your shoulder or behind you. Always look forward. And so when we compare, we're not looking forward. We're looking beside us. And for those of you, I hate to throw real estate into this. I wasn't going to. It's not really real estate. For those of you who are familiar with Bold, right? We don't want to compare our insides to somebody else's outsides. And so think about that. And I would just challenge you guys to meditate on that this week. So here's some homework that I would love for you to do. Let me look in it is Chad Lay Close. See, I told you I wouldn't be able to say that. From South Africa. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, it cost him the gold medal. Yes, thank you for saying that. So we just have to remember those things. Oh, my dog's gonna bark because it's thundering here. Come here, Frankie. Sorry, guys. So here's your action items for this week. I really want you guys to create your nourishment centers on your cell phone. And then next week, come back and share a couple. So whether that's a music, whether that's a music playlist, whether that's some photos, whether it's some quotes, whether it's some scripture, whether it's a couple of people that you just want to say, hey, I'm going to add you to my nourishment center favorites. And then come back and share next week, because these nourishment centers, they can be a game changer for you. They are for me, at least. And then I really want you guys to listen to the Craig Groeschel podcast. It's a quick one. It's like 20 minutes. Episode 51. We're going to post this in the Facebook group, by the way. So if you are not in the Facebook group, you can go and join that. And I wonder if would Heather or somebody be able to post that in the chat if possible? If not, it's okay. So March 16th, 2019, there's a podcast I love. It's called Keeping It Real. And it's about being authentic and keeping your mindset in a good place as you are an authentic person. And you really kind of meditate in your authenticity, which I think is really important right now, honestly, because I don't know about you guys, but during this COVID-19, a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff thank you, Erica. Thank you so much for their own agendas. And I just think when, this is Troy's favorite quote, I think, and mine too, and several of you others. Remember, people would always rather follow a leader that's real than a leader that's right. And so I think authenticity is just something we need to keep thinking about right now. So I'd encourage you to go find that, listen to that this week. You won't regret it. It's so good. If you've already listened to it, listen to it again. And then continue to send your 5 handwritten note cards to people in your world. And here's what I want to show you about that really fast. So the power of a tiny note, even like one sentence, a 5-word tiny note, is massive. And we've done these in some exercises that we've had in masterminds and events. And I just love this picture of Tyler. It's one of my favorite pictures ever. For those of you that know Tyler, he's the most humble, like flies below the radar person. And I love that he's like such a part of all of our worlds now. And people really appreciate him when we're going up and putting notes on his shirt, which I just think was awesome. Like it like made my whole entire day. But I just think don't ever underestimate the power of making someone else's day by just sending a little tiny note. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It does need to be authentic, but don't feel like you have to write a book. Just something, just a little something. And then I don't know about you guys, but I keep every single, if anybody has ever written me anything in my entire life, it is in these big circle boxes from Hobby Lobby. And I have like probably, I think I'm up to like 8. And I also have Frankie's, this is sick. This is TMI. I also have Frankie's baby teeth because he lost his teeth and I used to find them around the house and I saved them. I know that's really sick. That's like TMI, too much personal information, but they're in those boxes too. But all of these notes I've ever received are in these boxes. And if you're ever having a really crappy day, like it's great to go and read what other people think about you, because sometimes we may not feel that way about ourselves. But when we see how other people see us, we look at ourselves through the eyes of someone else. It's a really big difference. So never underestimate that. And then this is really quickly, I just wanted to put this on here as we end. Oh, it's 9:30. Look at me staying on time. I'm going to post this in the Facebook group, and I'm going to post a video of Craig Groeschel, and he speaks this blessing over a crowd. And I happened to record it at the perfect time when I was seeing him in Atlanta one time. So go to the Facebook group today, and I'm gonna post this in here. This used to be my screensaver for a really long time. And I have it in my planner. I have it like printed out everywhere, but I'm also gonna post the actual video of Craig Groeschel. And I just hope that it gives you guys a good mindset today, because it's one of the best things ever. And the whole purpose of this is you are running your race with purpose in every single step when you're faithful in the small things. And so I just want you guys to remember that. So share it with a friend. Go to the Facebook group. We'll post it there. Oh, thank you, Heather. There's the podcast, the link for the podcast. We'll post these in the Facebook group too. And then that's all I got. 1 minute late. Thank you, guys. Any thoughts, feedback? I hope you have a great day. Thanks for coming back. Invite a friend. I love that I see some people that are not in real estate. And is that Jen McConnell? Oh, hi. So have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. And have a great week.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you, guys. This gives me a good mindset to see you guys. So thank you. Oh, hey, Georgia. Thank you.